GTA 6 is going to be massive as a release overall, but also for the sales of consoles. And Take-Two and Strauss Zelnick comment on how he believes it will sell Xbox consoles, as well as how important PC is and how much they think they're leaving on the table at the launch of GTA 6 by not putting it on PC. Another classic Resident Evil game looks like it is coming out, and it is going to be coming to Xbox and PlayStation. It has been rated by the ESRB. Valve adds some more rules for advertising in their marketplace. PlayStation is going to be cracking down on games that are released on PSN to get rid of spam and just games that should not be there. We have some insight here for the next God of War. They're going in a somewhat different direction, but interesting stuff there. Monster Hunter Wilds gets an extended open beta, and Yuji Naka, as you know, he's in jail. We have a story about that as well. But before we continue, if you do enjoy daily gaming news and content, hit the subscribe, share the video, like it, all of that stuff. But half of you that watch every day are not subscribed. Go on my analytics and it shows me that. So if you are one of those and you do like staying update in the gaming world, again, hit the subscribe button. And let's jump into it here. Let's talk GTA 6. Let's talk Xbox console sales and PC and how big that's going to be once GTA finally does release on PC. As we know, the Xbox Series consoles is the lowest selling console comparatively to the Nintendo Switch and to PlayStation. We've been seeing some numbers go around that they only sold 2 million consoles in 2024. But I've also seen pushback how that isn't true. They're sold far more than that, around 3.44 million, something in that range. It really isn't 100% because Xbox does not release their console sales numbers, but clearly the console sales have been on the decline. You just take a look at the Xbox financial reports, and every time they're coming out, they are going down in percentage. They're negative like 29%, stuff like that, which is not what they're looking for here in terms of console sales. And that always brings up the question as to what are they going to do to improve those sales, and what does this mean for the next generation? We won't get into that. You already know my opinion on what is coming next. I do believe there will be consoles, but Take-Two does believe as well that GTA 6 will help sell the Xbox consoles in 2025. And I think that makes complete sense. I do believe as well it will help push consoles for people who have been waiting to get in to the console market. There's still a lot of people that play on PS4, and there's still a lot of people that play on the Xbox One. And here's what Strauss Zelnick says in terms of the console sales. He says, when you have a big title in the market and we have many of them coming, historically, that has sold consoles. And I think that will happen this year. I don't think tariffs are going to be our friend, but I think there will be a meaningful uptick in console sales in calendar 25 because of the release schedule, not just coming from us, but coming from others. So I'm not concerned about the console sales falling. I think the trend that you'd want to focus on is this increasing the share of the market that is reflected in PC. So Strauss Zelnick believes, yes, consoles will sell. Now, will the consoles be going up in price? As he does mention here, tariffs. I mean, we could see that happen because that is going to make things increase, particularly in the United States, in terms of the price of the consoles when you have parts obviously coming from countries that have tariffs on them that are producing parts to make these consoles. So we'll see what happens there. Would that stop people from going out and buying a console when GTA 6 comes out? It depends how much more they do sell for, or even if they do go up in price at all. It could, but I still think GTA 6 is such a powerful release that people would end up paying a bit more if they had to, just to be able to play the game itself. And this is where PC comes in. And if you already have a PC, obviously, and you're buying things digitally, it does not matter. If you have a console, obviously, and you're buying games digitally, it doesn't matter either. But GTA 6 not releasing on PC is going to be a huge miss in terms of the amount of sales they could get, because we are seeing this industry go more and more towards PC, as that is the growth segment where consoles have kind of stayed stagnant. But we have this here from Take-Two, and they're talking as well about GTA 6 and the importance of growing the PC platform and just how much they would be missing out on right now when it does not launch on PC. This is speaking to IGN. Strauss Zelnick says here that the PC release of GTA 6 will be on the way, but the company tends not to go across all platforms simultaneously. He says, so with Civ 7, it's available on console and PC and Switch right away. And he goes, with regards to others in our lineup, we don't always go across all platforms simultaneously. Historically, Rockstar has started with some platforms and then historically moved to other platforms. And he says, we have seen PC become much more important part of what used to be a console business, and I wouldn't be surprised to see that trend continue. And interestingly here, Zelnick does say that the PC version of a multi-platform game can generate 40% of overall sales, and as a result, PC platform is growing in importance. So right there, I mean, this kind of echoes a lot of what Phil Spencer has been saying, what Xbox has been saying, and even PlayStation has come out and started saying just how important PC is. And you look forward to the future of consoles, the future of gaming. PC is going to be a main thing here for every single publisher. Xbox, PlayStation, maybe Nintendo at some point if they ever want to be able to reach those gamers. The thing again with Nintendo, they have kind of a different business model. Costs to create their games are less. They have bigger margins, so they can take longer to eventually transfer over to that. But we'll see what happens here and how long it takes for GTA 6 to hit PC. I'm expecting it to not be that crazy of a wait for PC gamers, especially here where he's talking about how much growth they could have there, and 40% of revenues would be a lot to miss out on. But even when they do launch it on PC, no matter when it is, it'll still make it all up. People will go out there and buy it. The bigger question I have when it comes to GTA 6 is just the price of it. What are they doing with the online? Are they going to have a bundle with online? Will that increase the overall cost of the game when it does come out? So lots of interesting things here still to be answered for GTA 6. But as of right now, it is on track to release in 2025. And that should be exciting for anybody out there who's looking forward to this game. And it's a large amount of people. All right, we've heard about Resident Evil games coming back. I mean, they've already brought back older games. They've remade them, but it looks like they're going to be bringing back even more. Now, I'm not sure if this is going to be a remake or just kind of a remaster. It does seem like it is just going to be a remaster of these older games or just releasing them onto the new consoles itself. Resident Evil 5 and 6 now have both recently been classified here by ESRB. We did talk about Resident Evil 6 maybe last week or so. When it did happen, we did talk about it. And now it looks like Resident Evil 5 is getting that same treatment. So I'm expecting an announcement here from Capcom that these games are going to be releasing on the current gen platforms. It says here that Resident Evil 5 was originally released on PS3, Xbox 360, and PC in 2009. And then it was re-released on the PS4, the Xbox One in 2016 before making its way to the Switch in 2019. And now the game's new ESRB rating is fueling speculation that another remaster is in the works. And we did see last month that Resident Evil 6 for the Xbox Series X and S had been rated, would suggest that the game is going to be coming to the current gen consoles soon. So you have RE5 and RE6 now being rated for the current platforms, which would mean they're probably gearing up here for a major Resident Evil announcement. What I think is going to happen is they're going to show Resident Evil 9 and then announce that these older games are getting remastered that you can go ahead and play before you wait for Resident Evil 9. We've seen leaks about Resident Evil 9 about it being bigger than 7 and 8 and kind of a more open world, but it'll finish off that trilogy in the series, a trilogy that I've very much enjoyed, or at least enjoyed the first two games. We'll see if I enjoy Resident Evil 9. But if you want to get your fix of the older stuff that you haven't played or just waiting for 9, I think you're going to be able to get that on current gen. And I wonder how much better it will look with just playing it on the Series X and the PlayStation 5. All right, Steam. They're updating their advertising rules for Steam games. Always good when they do stuff like this to stop predatory practices within games. So I'm happy to see this. But basically what's going on is they are now having a dedicated page here to explain what types of advertisements are supported and not supported on Steam. Basically, you're not going to be able to put ads within games if your game is on Steam. And say Steam allows ads with product placement, which includes real brands, products, personalities, etc., as part of gameplay. And the advertising is accepted when it does not disrupt anything and matches the context of the game. So you're not going to have games now that basically stop and have an ad inserted. I don't know if I've ever really seen that, but that could be something that some publishers are thinking about doing going forward to make up how expensive these games are to make, which would be kind of ridiculous if you're in the middle of a game and then an ad just pops up and stops your gameplay. They do say here what types of ads are not allowed on Steam. They say coming to the ads that will lead to your game being banned on Steam, devs are not allowed to utilize paid advertising as a business model in their game, meaning you can't entice players into watching ads to play or gate gameplay behind it, which is perfectly reasonable to do that. Basically, they're stopping their games. I guess I have seen it, but only on mobile games. They're basically stopping mobile shovelware being put onto Steam, which is a good thing. And PlayStation Network as well is kind of doing some cracking down on their shovelware games. It's good to see that they're stepping near, because you've heard a lot about just garbage shovelware put on to these networks. And PlayStation here had this put out, and they say that PlayStation users were complaining about shovelware epidemic on the platform's digital storefronts years ago, and it's a problem that has been brewing for a while, but it peaked recently with an investigation that was carried out by IGN. And it seems that QA processes are slacking that have encouraged developers to push dozens of asset flip AI generation games to the storefront. And now, apparently PlayStation is trying to crack down on this to stop this from happening. PS4 and PS5 users have noticed that the vast amounts of shovelware winding up in their search results. And some of these games come from random spin games who releases multiple games a month. Low effort, like mobile, I guess, style of games are pointless. They say RPGs here with just random stuff that nobody really cares about, at least to be playing them on console. But users have noticed here that over the last couple of days, some of these spam games have been silently stripped from the PlayStation Store. This even ending up on PSN is kind of mind-boggling. You think that they would have more quality assurance, especially when you're playing in a closed platform here. You're having to pay PSN money if you want to play games online, stuff like that. To allow these games onto the platform initially, it does not make sense how they're just getting through their QA, but luckily it looks like they are cracking down here and not having this. I don't really know if this is on Xbox as well. I'm sure there is some shovelware on Xbox. I don't run into it. I don't even look at that type of stuff, but clearly people are seeing this and it is getting annoying. They don't want to be downloading just stuff that is just as low quality as possible to try to make a quick profit by showing up on the PSN store. If a bunch of people see this game, maybe the thumbnail looks cool or whatever, it's like basically like a clickbait YouTube video, they may click it, download it, and then who knows, they make some profit off of that. That needs to be cracked down absolutely here on the PlayStation Network, and hopefully this is something that does continue. Now, when it comes to the next God of War, hopefully we hear more about this. I mean, it is another game that isn't a new IP or bringing back something like Resistance that didn't get greenlit, which we talked about yesterday, but I still want to see more here from PlayStation first-party studios here in 2025. Maybe we will get the announcement for that sequel to God of War. And there's a rumor now going around that God of War could be set in Greece, focusing on young Kratos. This is coming via Insider Gaming and Tom Henderson, saying here, from what I've been told, it isn't set in Egypt. It's actually set in Greece, and it is going to be a younger Kratos this time. And apparently the storyline has more to do with his relationship with his father and all that kind of stuff. He also mentions about the God of War games, the first ones that came out on PS2 and PS3, apparently getting a remaster, which I actually would be for because they need them, or at least the first two would be super cool to see those upgraded with modern day graphics. The third one still looks good, but it still would be using a remaster. This isn't like when they did the Last of Us stuff, and those games absolutely don't need it, or even Horizon, which didn't need it. But it goes on here and say he's been told middle of next week in terms of the state of play, saying it's a game I'm very excited about. I've not spoken about it anywhere, but there is a brand new title from a new studio it's going to debut at the state of play, which I'm very, very eager to see. Would be cool. I will not be shocked at all if this is the case. I think PlayStation knows right now they need to show something. Even if this game isn't coming out for a couple of years, which would be kind of annoying, but if it doesn't come out for a couple of years, maybe like not until 2026, 2027 or something along those lines, they still need to show something that they have more games in the works, especially after they've canceled all of those live service games. Because as of right now, for 2025, Ghost of Yote is really the only game that we know is releasing this year. I wonder if we will be getting an announcement for another one that does come out. Maybe it's this. Maybe this game has been in development now for a while and is actually very close to being done. And maybe it is a end of the year 2025 release. That would be a nice surprise here, I think, for people on PlayStation and just for gamers who are fans of God of War. But the more likely scenario, I think, would be is that we are probably going to be getting those God of War remasters, if those are real, this year. And then we'll get the next God of War in 2026 at the end of 2026. That's kind of my prediction if they were to show these off at a state of play. All right, a couple more things to end off here. Monster Hunter Wilds, the open beta is coming for anybody who wants to go and try this game out potentially before they buy it. But we have some updates here in terms of Capcom actually extending the open beta for Monster Hunter Wilds so that you get the extra day due to the PSN outage. So it says here that Capcom has now confirmed that a second planned session of the open beta test will be extended by 24 hours. The second open beta will now take place from February 13th until February 17th for everybody who does want to go ahead and check it out. They say the PlayStation Network was down for around 24 hours over the weekend, meaning players weren't able to connect their consoles online and, of course, to take part in the open beta test number 1. And this is smart by Capcom by not punishing gamers for that and giving them that extra time over the next weekend. And they say as a result, many players were unable to access the open beta test 2 for the game for a large part of the weekend, something Capcom has now acknowledged on a post here saying, PS5 hunters, thanks for your patience and understanding during the weekend's PSN server issues. And to account for the reduced open beta test 2 playtime due to the outage, we are considering running open beta test 2 for an additional 24 hours at a future date. Exact details and timing will be determined, and now we know when that is, when they're going to be having this more open beta for the game, which is releasing this month. Will be a massive release, especially with all of the games coming out in February. I think this is probably going to be the biggest release out of the all in terms of sales and everything. So a huge game that we are going to be able to jump in and play before buying to see if you're a fan of this new Monster Hunter game. And finally, Yuji Naka, if you remember, he got sentenced to 30 months in prison. He is the creator of Sonic. And the reason he got sentenced to 30 months in prison was for insider trading. Well, it looks like even with all that going on, he's still actually being able to update games while being on a suspended prison sentence. So it says here, posting on X on Monday, he said he'd updated Pirates of Coin, which was released in 2016 by Probe and the independent studio he co-founded after leaving Sega. He says, after 8 years, I have updated our Probe application, Pirates of Coin. It was built in Unity 5 at the time, but I had to update a lot of things. Well, there are a lot of Unities between now and Unity 6. I changed JavaScript to C# and supported a lot of obsoletes. So they say here, it's unclear what Naka, who is currently serving a suspended prison sentence for insider trading, has planned in terms of future game development. So again, he was sentenced to 30 months in prison, which has been suspended for 4 years and given 2 fines of 173 million yen, which is $1.2 million, after he did plead guilty to buying shares based on inside information with his time working at publisher Square Enix. So he's still updating games. We'll see if he does put out anything new, but he's in an interesting situation there. I'm going to end the video there. If you guys did enjoy this video, make sure to hit that thumbs up. If you are new, or hit that subscribe. And like I said, if you have been watching and aren't subscribed, hit the subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.
Bye.